power and control. One of the major ways that we lose our power, thus losing control of our minds, ourselves. The body goes where the body follows the mind. One type weapon which destroys us from within is to render us in a state of need. Now, need comes from the frequency of lack. That's where your poverty comes from. So your money ain't gonna never be right. And this is all a part of what happens when we fawn. Go along to get along, people please, whatever you call it, codependency. Every time we go through the act of playing this out to appease others. And I state again, the mind is not aware if something is real or if it's contrived, meaning it's made up, make believe. So when we act out these little fawning, these little people pleasing things, situations, our mind starts to experience some type of cognitive dissonance because we know that we are acting and playing out. But the mind, because we are going through the act of doing that to the mind, now this becomes real. Greed comes from the realm and frequency of lack, hoarding, the greed from the frequency and paradigm of abundance. There's always replenishment. You have to be a certain way. You have to do things within a certain order to maintain that frequency of abundance. And you can't play at it. Like I say, I don't wear a mask. I don't go home and take off a mask. The character or avatar, pay homage to my friend, avatar that we choose, that we have the power to choose that. And that avatar should be a reflection on your internal self. It should not be something totally different. And that goes back to narcissism. Because that's what narcissists are, right? That's what they do, right? Their mask, their avatar, character is something totally contrived, totally made up. It is the exact opposite reflection on their internal selves. There's a difference in being clothed and being masked. So, codependency wouldn't work without you being in need and the other individual being in need. This isn't working for anyone involved. So let's go through the definition of need. Require something because it is essential and very important. There are people walking this planet thinking that they were put on this planet without all the things they require. You have all the tools and all the building blocks to attain everything you require. Let's look at the word require. Need for a particular purpose. You need something for a particular purpose. Circumstances in which something is necessary or that requires some course action necessity. A thing that is wanted or required. A requirement. Look at the word require. That means that this is not optional. But if you're not operating from some purpose, you're never going to move out of a comfort zone and you're never going to feel your chains. I give this analogy of codependency. Think of two people walking side by side. Codependency is a join. Let's put two individuals side by side. They're facing the same direction. The direction really don't matter in this instance, but I'm just saying. Put them side by side, hip by hip for hip, and tied together. You know, like a three-legged race. Tie together the connecting legs, then tell them to walk together. They're not going to be able to walk as they are intended to walk and as they are capable of walking. But what will happen is if you continue to walk like that, it's going to handicap you and you're going to start walking. You're going to forget how to walk the way you naturally walk and start walking like that, handicapped. Codependency means that two individuals have to be weak in need or it wouldn't be codependency. It would be interdependency. Interdependency means that we're both walking, we're each using our legs, and we have the mobility to move as we are designed, not contingent on the other individual. And that's what I've been experiencing in the past 6 years. People trying to get me into a position of need and or exploiting my needs. And I had to go through all that just to learn how to accept help. But when you are traumatized and conditioned from constantly being around individuals who are in lack, they're operating by habit. It is subconsciously, they're operating by habit from a state of lack.